Every new iPhone is a mystery. Is there a big difference between the iPhone 13 and the upcoming iPhone 14? Does the iPhone 14 deserve the attention we're giving it? Watch the video till the end to get not only answers to these questions, but also to find out all the new features of the iPhone 14. For the first time, the notch appeared on the iPhone 10, and since then, it hasn't gone anywhere. But such beauty is needed to store the front-facing camera and Face ID. The notch initially was an extremely controversial decision, which eventually led us to a lot of controversy in the community. You know, Android smartphones don't have a notch on the screen. Instead, they use the punch hole design. That is, the technology is here and it's definitely the time for Apple to listen to customers. And it looks like they did. The analyst Meng-Chi Kuo released some very interesting news about the design of the iPhone 14. It turns out that the developers plan to completely remove the notch, and it will look more like a punch hole on Android smartphones. Hooray! My first thought, if so, then the entire design of the iPhone will meet some changes as well. And look at this! Mark Gurman from Bloomberg has already posted that the iPhone 14 will have a completely updated yes design. The analyst Ross Young said that the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max will have both an ellipse and round cutout on the screen, so Apple could easily store in there both the front-facing camera and the Face ID sensors. And it sounds great, just something we expect to see and eventually use. But it's not that simple. Kuo believes that the notch will go away only if production goes according to plan, and the plan unfortunately may change, or it may even be pushed forward to some better times for the company. This is probably the reason why the new design will appear first only on the more expensive iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max models. On the cheaper models, we'll meet the familiar notch. It's quite possible that the changes will happen to all the models and they just play with us, pouring oil to the fire of rumors and theories so that we feel the moment of excitement while watching the keynote. For example, John Prosser confirms that all the new Pro iPhones, in particular the 14 Pro Max, will have a punch hole design. He doesn't say anything about cheaper models, and either there will be a surprise or, well, no changes at all. I personally believe more in the partial integration of the changes than in the radical separation of the current and future generation. Although I'm happy that the notch is finally going away and eventually it might live in our memories as the thing from the past, just like the iPhone's headphone jack, the lightning port, and all the ports in general. Yes, you've heard it right. For the last few years, we have been getting the information that Apple is removing the lightning port, and now we get the same rumors about the iPhone 14. We had the same rumors last year about the iPhone 13 Pro, but as we know, this only led to a new topic for discussion where it didn't go beyond rumors. I think it's quite possible, but today not every user is ready to fully switch to wireless charging. In addition, MagSafe's power is limited to 7.5 watts, while the regular charging with cable on the iPhone 13 is limited to 21 watts. By the way, let me know, do you think Apple's desire to remove the port is a topic worthy of attention? Like, seriously, you might lose the charger. You might face some issues with the port, requiring either a new smartphone or a repair. It all costs money. Isn't there too much attention paid to the charging system? I think that the best compromise for everyone is making some models without ports, giving us the options, and then look at the results and decide is it worth it or not. The portless iPhone. I can't believe I'm saying this. But on the other hand, the analyst Ross Young claims that the basic iPhone 14 will have the port and the notch. Yes, there's the connection between. But the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max are likely to lose not only the notch, but also the port. However, can we expect a fold-in iPhone from Apple? We can expect this for the most objective reasons. Apple is always learning from competitors. The Samsung is already making such devices, for example, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold. Roughly speaking, a competitor is paving the path for those considering long-term rather than short-term perspective. The guy with this Twitter account, Dylan, shared that the guys from Cupertino have been developing and testing various iPhone prototypes with a flexible display for a long time. However, so far, such screens require too many compromises, so it's still unclear whether the company will ever launch a folding iPhone. But this is just a beautiful and high-quality concept called iPhone Air. It was created exclusively based on the imagination of the designer Antonio De Rosa. As for the technical part, the creator mentions water protection and Apple M1. Of course, none of this makes any sense given that it's just a concept, but while some talented people create these beautiful rumors, others directly state that they're gonna bring back the Touch ID. You know, honestly, this is the weirdest rumor. It seems that the technology is not new, but for some reason, it has become a topic for discussions because, guess what? That's right, we have to wait again. Meng-Chi Kuo stated that Apple had to delay the appearance of the Touch ID built into the display until 2023. It turned out to be slower than the company expected. Perhaps, my friends, Apple will abandon this idea altogether and put the Touch ID right in the iPhone's power button, as on the iPad Air and iPad Mini. But there is a small but super ultra pro max important detail: the camera. The upper corner of the iPhone 13 turns the iPhone into a really bad arrow when it falls, because this is the heaviest part of it. And there are two options: make the camera smaller or the iPhone itself thicker. Or maybe there is another option. The answer is actually pretty obvious. iPhones are made of stainless steel and aluminium, which can be layered, but it's unlikely to help much because of the density of the material. We can keep on guessing, but JP Morgan Chase investors directly admit that the new iPhone can get a case from titanium alloy. It is a fairly durable material and can guarantee better protection of the iPhone, which we have all been waiting for a long time. But there is a great chance of getting all the dirt and fat sticking to your titanium iPhone, so it will not look so pretty without a case. But the most important thing is the weight. It will become 60% heavier. Yes, so you can imagine the weight of the future iPhone. But it's great when you know that if your smartphone falls, it's more likely to break the tile on the floor than its display. However, in this case, you will have to pay for the tile. Okay, let's move on. Just a quick reminder, all these are rumors. It's quite possible that we'll not see all these changes at once, so let's hope that the guys from Cupertino are at least puzzling over how to make the iPhone 14 more durable. But I'm ready to get even less durable iPhone 14 if they will let me shoot video in 8K resolution, which I personally believe is going to happen this year. And this is just great news, especially for those who can't live without a camera in a smartphone. Whether you are a professional or an amateur is no longer important because the very concept of photo and video shooting has gone beyond and inaccessible. Now everyone can shoot a cool video for social media, and not only. The following news causes different emotions. The company plans to remove the 5.4-inch model despite the fact that many like it because of its convenient size. That's right, there will be no mini model in the iPhone 14 line. The end of an era. We grew up and the iPhone grew up with us, and we grew up with it, so it grew up with us. Anyway, the Mini will always remain in our hearts. Instead, 4 models will be available in 2 different sizes, 6.1 and 6.7 inches. The largest will be the iPhone 14 Pro Max, 6.7 inches. Talking about the cameras on the remaining models, there is this quite pleasant information. iPhone 14, 2 lenses, 12 megapixels plus 12 megapixels and LiDAR. iPhone 14 Pro, 3 lenses, 48 megapixels plus 12 and LiDAR. iPhone 14 Pro Max, 3 lenses, 48, 12 and LiDAR. What else the Max will have is still unclear. And I would expect a higher price for this model. I wouldn't worry too much about front-facing cameras. Apple is quite confidently moving towards improving the cameras, so not only the hardware but also the software, so that processing and other settings work like magic. The expected improvements have already been announced in the rumors of Meng-Chi Kuo, as well as the improvement of the front-facing camera with autofocus support and a wider aperture. In addition, the f1.9 aperture versus the f2.2 aperture on the iPhone 13 will ensure that more light hits the sensor. This will allow you to take more deep photos with a blurred background, as well as high-quality night photos. Kuo and other experts have already predicted predicted that since a small hole in the display will be used instead of the notch, then smaller camera modules will have to be used for this. But I think it's not an impossible task. For example, the selfie camera in the Samsung Galaxy S22 flagships also supports autofocus, but a small one is enough for it. However, not all manufacturers have similar functionality. Even the newest flagships of Google and OnePlus have a fixed focus in the front-facing cameras. But this is not just about the outside, but also about the inside. Even though we have the rumors that the iPhone 14 will have a new 3nm processor, this is not the case. The iPhones will run on the chips with the improved 5nm technology. Most likely it will be called, quite obvious, A16. Will we face the throttling problems? The latest versions of the iPhone have already encountered such a problem, and it's time to fix it. There is another important topic with this, particularly the connectivity itself. Satellite connectivity. We get lots of rumors that the upcoming iPhone 14 will get the satellite connectivity for emergency calls plus sending SMS to certain contacts. This technology will be able to work anywhere in the world, even where there is no cellular coverage area. And this information is interesting in this way. Once there is satellite connectivity, there will be even more people interested in buying the iPhone. Thousands of people who love traveling will not be afraid to be left without communication. And here's another point. Traveling is quite a dangerous thing, where the risk of breaking an iPhone is higher than in a comfortable city. The dots are being connected. Imagine a titanium iPhone with satellite connectivity. And we have the information from Mark Gurman in the Power On newsletter that the new Apple Watch will also receive this feature, and we expect to see this in 2022 or 2023. Already in February, the guys from Cupertino signed an agreement with Globalstar. The satellite partner promised to provide a good connection of the services provided for the potential client. But don't get scared by these rumors. There have always been and will be a lot of rumors, but facts will put everything in its place. What would you like to see in the new iPhone 14? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.